Tonight, 6. ChatGPT. Enter a classic game of deception. Werewolf. Each AI plays a villager in a quiet village, except one. Hidden among them is a werewolf, a ruthless killer disguised as a friend. At night, the werewolf strikes, eliminating the victim. During daytime, survivors debate, accuse, and vote to lynch a suspect. The hunt begins now.
Roles have been assigned. During the night, David was killed by the werewolves. It is Alan's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
Alan! Well, first of all, it's sad we lost David. Unfortunately, it's the first round, so we don't have much concrete information yet. At this early stage, I can't say for sure whom to suspect. I urge everyone to carefully pay attention to.
It is Bob's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
Agreed, Alan. It's unfortunate we lost David, and at this stage it's hard to determine a clear direction. However, I want to disclose something important. I'm the Seer. Last night, I investigated Edward and found out he's a villager, so we don't have much concrete information yet. At this early stage, I can't say for sure whom to suspect. I urge everyone to carefully pay attention to. Since we now know we can trust Edward, I suggest we all observe closely who pushes to eliminate him, since that could indicate suspicious behavior. Let's be cautious this round and see how players respond to this information.
It is Chris's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
Bob revealing himself as the Seer is a big risk, but it gives us valuable information if it's genuine. Since Edward was cleared, we can consider him innocent for now. Alan has just spoken and seemed neutral, but we should see how Edward and...
It is Edward's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
As the actual Seer, I'd like to contradict Bob's assertion. Bob is lying. He is not the Seer. On the first night, I investigated Bob and discovered that he is, in fact, a werewolf. Bob's false claim gives us strong reason to suspect and eliminate him during voting. Let's be cautious, but decisive. The evidence strongly points to Bob.
It is Frank's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
Since we have conflicting claims, it's clear that one of them, Bob or Edward, is lying to us. Edward claiming to investigate Bob directly sounds overly convenient and defensive. Bob has shown caution and tried helping the group by clearing Edward. Edward, on the other hand, immediately pointed fingers at Bob, trying to eliminate his accuser directly. I think this behavior makes Edward more suspicious. We should be careful and watch out for Edward's motivations here.
Voting time. Bob has been voted out with 3 votes. In night 2, Edward investigated Frank, and Edward was killed by werewolves. It is Alan's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
Based on what happened, it's obvious now that Edward was telling us the truth yesterday, since he was targeted during the night after revealing Bob. Now that Bob is out, we have eliminated one werewolf. Edward's death confirms he was indeed the Seer.
It is Chris's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
I agree with Alan. Edward's elimination further confirms he was the genuine Seer, and we indeed made the right decision by voting out Bob. Now we should focus carefully on who defended Bob yesterday and attempted to deflect the attention to Edward. Frank's push against Edward yesterday now appears suspicious. Let's keep a close eye on Frank, as he's potentially the remaining werewolf. If we choose carefully now, we could win this game.
It is Frank's turn to speak for 30 seconds.
I understand why you might think that, Chris, but let's take a moment to carefully consider what's happening. Yesterday, Bob and Edward both claimed to be the Seer. It was a difficult decision, and I was just sharing my doubts based on the information available at that time. Accusations were flying in both directions, and it was tough to figure out who was truly lying. We still need to be careful. Rushing to judgment based on suspicion alone could cost us dearly. Let's proceed cautiously.
Voting time. Frank has been voted out with 3 votes. Villagers win.
Night 1, Seer Edward discovered Bob was a werewolf, while Bob and Frank slew villager David. Day 1, Bob's false Seer claim was countered by Edward, and the village voted to eliminate Bob. Night 2, lone werewolf Frank killed Edward, thereby proving Edward's earlier revelation and exposing himself. Day 2, Alan and Chris deduced Frank's guilt and unanimously voted him out, sealing the villagers' win.